back to ACB Wrestling Talk, your main source for wrestling news and wrestling discussions. I'm, of course, your host, Alexis Carrillo, and let's get into some wrestling talk. Well, it seems WWE once again shut yours truly up. They shut me up because I predicted and I assumed that at TLC, their upcoming pay-per-view that I believe takes place this upcoming Sunday, I believed that the Fiend Bray Wyatt was set to defend his Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan. Well, due to what happened a couple of weeks ago, Daniel Bryan seems to be not in a condition to challenge the Fiend, so now they're shifting their attention, both the Fiend and Bray Wyatt are shifting their attention to The Miz, specifically The Miz's family. Now, it is still uncertain if Bray Wyatt versus The Miz at TLC will be for the Universal Championship. I think that hasn't been confirmed, but, you know, if you ask me, it should be for the title. It's a pay-per-view. The championship at a pay-per-view should always be on the line. There should be no excuse as to why it's not on the line, but I do understand that if it isn't on the line, it's because The Miz is fighting not for championship gold, not to be recognized as the best on the SmackDown brand, but he is fighting to defend his family, to defend Maurice and both of his daughters. And again, speaking on just character terms, just speaking about the character and the fact that it is entertainment, I just love the Fiend character. I love what they're doing with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt. I love those Firefly Funhouse segments where he's happy and bubbly at one time, and then the snap of a finger, he just goes dark and serious and creepy. And I just love that multifaceted character that WWE and Bray Wyatt have brought to the Fiend. So loving that. Obviously, you already know that Bray Wyatt and the Fiend might be the most important and the most over character right now in WWE. So it'd be stupid as hell for WWE to have him lose at TLC to The Miz. Nothing against The Miz, but again, it'd be stupid as hell to have him lose against The Miz or Daniel Bryan or anybody right now when the character is still so popular and so hot. My big question, my big issue here is that maybe WWE has booked themselves into a corner, kind of like the way they did back in 2015, where my assumption, and sometimes I'm wrong, my assumption is that Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, is going to defend his Universal Championship against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That, to me, is my assumption. That's where WWE is going. That's the reason WWE has kept Roman Reigns away from any world title for so long, ever since his return earlier this year. The thing is, it seems like Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan round 2 might take place at the Royal Rumble, which could also mean Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble match. Could we have another case of Reigns being booed out of the building, just like it happened in 2015 in Philadelphia? That could be the case. Maybe fans have grown to better respect and better appreciate the Roman Reigns character. After all, ever since the scare from, almost a year ago, no, over a year ago now. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes down. But again, that worries me because Roman Reigns is a top babyface in the company that are not going to turn him heel. I don't want fans booing him. I really don't. And I don't see Daniel Bryan becoming world champion anytime soon. So, moving on. Alexa Bliss defeated Mandy Rose on SmackDown on Friday. Her big in-ring return. We had a entertaining-ish segment between Dana Brooke, Elias, and Drake Maverick. Elias, he made his return about 2 weeks ago. And apparently he's doing it as a babyface, which is the right move, because fans, even though, he's a great heel, whenever a beloved heel returns, fans want to cheer him because they miss him. So again, The Revival became the new #1 contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. They're set to challenge the New Day at TLC for the Tag Team titles. Nothing new right there. We've seen the New Day versus the Revival before. All we can hope is that they have another great match. That's that. Sheamus had a vignette, another one of his vignettes where he called the SmackDown locker room lazy and that he's set to return. And I'm ready for him to return. I do miss Sheamus, the main eventer, the former world champion. I loved his stint with his tag team partner Cesaro, but it seems that even though they're on the same brand now, Sheamus could be a lot of help in the main event. He could be a lot of help in, putting over newer stars like Ali and Chad Gable. And again, I know they're not main event stars, but if he's a singles competitor, he's got the pedigree to put those guys over. Let's see if that happens. Lacey Evans has apparently turned babyface. She's going up against Sasha Banks and Bayley. And, I was initially very, very cautious about Lacey Evans being a babyface. She still has the same mannerisms, the same attitude as she had when she was the heel sassy Southern Belle. But apparently WWE figured out the cheat code to get fans to cheer you and see you as a babyface. And that is to mention that you are a part of the Marine Corps. You can't boo that. It's very hard to boo that. You'll actually get cheered for that, as they should. All those brave men and women who go out there and defend the United States of America, our country. So again, it's very hard to pretty much impossible to be booed out of the building when you mention something like that. So, pretty smart move on WWE's part, but that's only, like I said, it's a cheat code. It's only a quick fix. They still have to really build Lacey Evans up as a babyface character. And finally, we had Roman Reigns, the big dog, defeating Dolph Ziggler once again. Reigns beating down on King Corbin's minions. Rude last week, Ziggler this week. Except this week we had a post-match beatdown where Corbin and Ziggler and I forgot the security guys' names, what they were called. They beat down on Reigns and they drowned him in dog food. Again, they have to continue down that road where that's already been established. But again, pretty damn childish to me. Big news broke out last night and yesterday on Sunday because WWE future endeavored quite a few superstars. Number one, Sin Cara. Sin Cara has been released from WWE, has been granted his release. The former Único is now going to be able to appear in any promotion, be that in Mexico or in the United States, or even Combate Americas with Alberto Del Rio. He's free to do that. I assume he still has a 90-day no-compete clause. But again, Sin Cara has been granted his release. Another two superstars that have been granted their release are Connor and Victor of the Ascension. Of course, the gimmick is trademarked by WWE, so they're going to have to, whenever they do appear, either on AEW or Impact or Ring of Honor or anywhere else, they're going to have to come up with a new gimmick and new names and everything. Maybe they might go their own way, singles competitors, but they've been released. But the biggest news coming out of these releases is the fact that WWE has granted the release of Luke Harper. Earlier this year, I believe, Luke Harper asked WWE for his release. He requested his release from WWE, and WWE did not oblige. They did not accept him being released, obviously, because Luke Harper is one hell of a talent. He's big. He's got the look that Vince McMahon loves. He's got the look that many fans see as, whoa, watch out for that guy. He's a main event guy. He'll bring anybody down. So, Harper was not granted his release. He then got injured, which resulted in a lot of reports mentioning that WWE had decided to extend his contract to early 2020 because of his injury, that being a clause in many WWE superstars' contracts. So quite a lot of tension and drama resulting in Luke Harper not getting his release. Now he finally has. It seems like I'm pretty damn sure Luke Harper does have his 90-day no compete clause, as you know, so he doesn't make an appearance this Wednesday night on Dynamite on TNT. So yeah, I expect big things for Luke Harper. Again, whenever he was a part of of actual television, he was a great Bludgeon brother. He was a great Wyatt family member, but we have yet to see him as an actual singles competitor. He did have that Intercontinental Championship run, but other than that, nothing more to it. You can see he's talented. Let's see if other companies around the world or around the country can break that out of him. One thing to note is that Harper did file for the in-ring name Brody Lee as a trademark, so that might be his name going forward wherever he may land. Well, going back to more and more drama, and trust me, these are some very interesting notes and very interesting news. Ring of Honor COO Joe Koff discussed their Ring of Honor's concussion protocol with Sports Illustrated. This after Kelly Klein has been reportedly fired by Ring of Honor because of the statements she's made online and social media, and the fact that she's been fired while injured and while still having a concussion. Now, this is what Joe Koff had to say to Sports Illustrated, and I quote, "It is not posted. We don't share documents like that publicly. When Klein suffered her concussion on October 26th, there was a medic there, hired by Ring of Honor, and she got immediate attention once it was known she was feeling anything. The protocol is just this. We recognize the dangers that are inherent in professional wrestling. More specifically, the possibility exists of a wrestler suffering a concussion during a match, and we take all injuries very, very seriously. When we were alerted or when we feel there is an injury, we immediately defer to the medical professional on staff. I think it was followed the way we have it designed to be followed. Once a performer indicates they are concussed or have any kind of injury, it goes immediately to the medical professional on site." Finally, Joe Koff did state that Ring of Honor and Ring of Honor management are going to see it through, that Kelly Klein is compensated and, can't find a word, gone through the entire concussion protocol where she has no expenses, nothing to worry about after which. So this is what he had to say about that. "I don't think the precedent has been set, so we're going to find out. My intentions are to make sure she's whole through this," mentioning the fact that they plan to pay every single medical bill that Kelly Klein has in terms of the concussion she suffered on a Ring of Honor wrestling show. This to me says that Ring of Honor is covering all of their bases, legally wise, as far as I understand, the laws. I'm not a lawyer, but again, that's as far as I understand. And again, it does seem a little fishy that they don't want to share their concussion protocol even after this entire drama. But again, it is confidential information. They're a privately held company. They've got to protect their own interests. Again, we're far from over. Kelly Klein, Joe Koff, Ring of Honor, they've got to figure this out, because Ring of Honor is not doing themselves any favor. They're keeping themselves in the news, because other than this, there's not really much to talk about with Ring of Honor. But I don't think that saying of any press is good press really fits here. This kind of press isn't quite good for Ring of Honor. What do you think? Who do you think is, to blame here for Ring of Honor? Kelly Klein, Joe Koff. What's your opinion? What do you think they should do? I know a lot of you fans want to stick it to the man and think, oh, Kelly Klein is the individual. She's the small guy fighting off against the big corporation in Ring of Honor. But at the end of the day, Ring of Honor does have to protect their interests. And it seems like they're doing so with this interview with Joe Koff and Sports Illustrated. Once again, mentioned that quite a bit of drama for the end of this show. ACH says he's quitting pro wrestling. At least that's what he posted on social media. This is what he posted. And I quote, I hate pro wrestling. I hate you shitty fans that think you know it all. More importantly, I hate the snakes in this industry. None of y'all would never say anything about it to me. All of y'all can go screw themselves. Yourself, sorry. I'm canceling my shows and I'm quitting pro wrestling. Chasing my dream was great, but you self-entitled pricks ruined everything. I'm out. This comes as a shock after Jordan Miles, ACH, announced that he had signed with MLW and he would be a part of Major League Wrestling. And he was a part of Major League Wrestling. He did take part in Opera Cup this past weekend, or this past week in MLW. But shortly after that, he posted that on Twitter. He said he's quitting professional wrestling. All I have to say to that is, you did that to yourself, kid. I'm sorry, but after the way you handled your business with WWE, you were very lucky to have been hired by Major League Wrestling because you are a very talented professional wrestler. That's not out of the question. But, again, the way you handled your business, it couldn't have made many people happy. And a lot of them in very, very high places. Like I said on last week's show, I really had my doubts on who would take a chance on hiring ACH. And MLW gave him a second chance. And now it seems that ACH is rewarding MLW's opportunity, MLW's trust, by saying, F you, I'm sick of the fans, I'm sick of professional wrestling as a whole. I don't care if I've only been here for one show. I just can't handle it anymore, so bye-bye. All I have to say to that is, for the professional wrestling industry, a guy like that, good riddance. ACH, I hope you find a better career, a career that makes you happier. Seriously, I do. Professional wrestling just doesn't seem like it right now. Your words, not mine. You seem to be quitting. And I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Hopefully this is just career-wise. I do not want to mess with any other element of your personal or financial life at all. But again, you kind of did this to yourself, ACH, so what do you want fans to do? That's what fans do, especially in professional wrestling. They're fickle as hell. They're with you one day and then the next day they're against you. That's just the way it's gonna be. You should have known this from the start. So moving on, because again we've talked way too much about ACH, someone who apparently is not going to be continuing on the professional wrestling industry. So with that said, today is Monday, which means another episode of Monday Night Raw. And don't think the drama stops there, because again, we have yet another segment with the Lana, Lashley, Rusev mess. Only this time it's going to be a divorce segment inside the ring. Lana and Rusev are going to get officially divorced. Storyline-wise, of course, because I assume behind the curtains, away from the storyline, Rusev and Lana are still married. They're still very much in their loving marriage. But in storyline, in the middle of the ring, they're going to get divorced. All I can say to this is they're already pretty deep into the storyline. It'd be very hard, very abrupt to just drop it out of nowhere. So they have to continue it. And we as fans have to put up with it. Do they think this will elevate ratings? I really don't know. I don't think so. Most of the IWC Online hasn't been content with this storyline, myself included. So let's just wait and see what happens. Everyone loves a dumpster fire. This might be it. It might be the most entertaining dumpster fire in professional wrestling on today's Monday Night Raw. So tune into the USA Network. I'll be doing that myself. Not only that, but AJ Styles gets his rematch against Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. I can pretty much guarantee you 99.9% of the times AJ Styles does not get his United States Championship back due to interference from Randy Orton. They, of course, got to go through with RKO versus the OC. And where Rey Mysterio goes with the US title, I don't know. I really don't care. As much of a fan as I was of Rey Mysterio, he's a veteran in WWE today, where you have tons of young talents. I mean, sorry, I can't go into it again. Let's move on. Finally, earlier this morning, it was announced that Batista and the NWO would be the first inductees into the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame class. The NWA, damn it, I can't pretty much speak today. The NWO would be having their core members inducted into the Hall of Fame, that being Hollywood, Hulk Hogan, Brother, Scott Hall, Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash, and Sean Waltman as a part of NWO. Batista, who just recently retired, will also be inducted into the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame. So congrats to every single one of them. They have all deserved it. They all have Hall of Fame careers. So with that said, what do you think about all of the news going on today's show of Wrestling Talk right here on Monday? Again, I apologize. I can barely speak today on Monday. Don't know what happened. But hopefully did my absolute best to go through with the show. So with that said, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. See you tomorrow.